HCAM News is supported by our viewers and by Hopkinton Drug, located in this historic New England town since 1954. They are a multifaceted store dedicated to providing clients with an array of healthcare options.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of HCAM News. I'm HCAM News Director Tom Nappy, here to fill you in with the latest happenings in Hopkinton. On today's edition of HCAM News, we have an extended look at the Hopkinton High School Honors Art Show at the Hopkinton Center for the Arts and a whole lot more. But first, Hopkinton Hillers boys hockey is in the postseason, and they have advanced on to the Elite Eight. Here's a recap of their incredible playoff run so far. On Wednesday, March 1st, the 8th-seeded Hiller boys hockey team started their playoff run hosting 25th-seeded North Attleboro at the New England Sports Center. The Hillers got things going in the first period.
It's away from Scardino. Mara looking to turn it up ice. Sends it to Morse. Morse approaching, takes the shot, it's in! What a shot by Drew Morse! Gets away. 15 seconds left to go in the first period. Purpura gets in there, takes the puck to the net, and it's off the side. And now he takes it around, he puts it in! Charlie Purpura! Well, if at first it's not good, pick yourself up and try again.
It was a 2-0 lead heading into the second period.
Carrazza. Approaching, and he nets it! Wow, what a shot! Joe Carrazza! Well, he saw that big opening along the stick side and popped it right in before Kyle Gruber could even react. 3-0 Hillers. Mara pops it off the boards, over to Wynn, and now across the Morris, back to Mara, and he goes! Pavitt Mara, number 4, with goal number 4, and the Hillers lead it 4-0. Along the near side boards, Carrazza escapes with it. Good box out by Manser. Carrazza puts on the move and puts it in! Joe Carrazza rings it around the crossbar and in. Mara. Approaching, shot turned away. Mara with it again. Takes it. And this time he will make it. Pavitt Mara with the heat. Scrapes it over to Purpura. Purpura racing in. And that shot deflected. Hayward with a shot. Backhander in! And that was off the stick of DeRocher, and Purpura just waiting along the corner, puts it in.
5 goals in the second period, and the Hillers would add 2 more in the third and take the game by a final of 9-0. North Attleboro ends their season with a record of 9-8-4. The Hillers improved to 17-4 overall and move on to the Sweet 16. For the Hillers, Charlie Purpura, Joe Carrazza, and Pavitt Mara each had 2 goals. Declan DeRocher, Drew Morse, and James Hayward also contributed a goal each in the dominant win. On Sunday, March 5th, 8th-seeded Hiller boys hockey hosted 24th-seeded Westwood in the Sweet 16 matchup. It was a wild back-and-forth first period.
Puts that one wide. Knocked out of there by Purpura. There's a shot, and it is off the glove of Lang and in. Ryan Pizzuto. Title up against Levery. Carrazza. Putting on the moves, approaching, shot! Oh! Ties it right up! Joe Carrazza! He said, well, you got a goal that you probably should have had. I'm going to strike back and make this game even again. Miller zone it goes. Morris pops it off the boards. McPherson to Mara. Mara looking to drive in. Sends it between two defenders, and Scardino puts it in! What a pass by Mara! Able to just sneak it to Scardino between two defenders. And the Hillers make it 2-1. As Nick pops it out. Still battling for it. Comes around, backhander, turned away. Some smooth moves there by Resnick. Sullivan with it. Coming up the far side. Gets around a number of Hillers and puts it in. Well, Dan Sullivan showing off the moves. Able to work it by a number of Hillers. Get right to the net and pops it in, taking advantage of the power play opportunity. We have ourselves a 2-2 game. Takes a shot and puts it in! Wow! Right by Quinn! Bringing the heat. That score comes at 43 seconds left to go in the first period. And the Hillers back on top, 3-2.
Hillers led 3-2 heading into the second period.
Along the corner. Zolotara puts it in! Wow! I think Scardino might have got a piece of it. But Zolotara put it towards the net. And it looks like Scardino may have popped it in. Looking to send it across. Gets it back as it deflects off of Van der Reyt. Big collision along the far side. Here comes Malloy. Malloy putting on the move. Shot. And it's going to be put in. Tim Malloy, the sophomore, with some good moves, makes it a 4-3 game.
It was a Hillers 4-3 lead heading into the third period.
And Ian Tosca gonna get in there. Sends it to Title, and Title pops it in! A beauty of a feed by Wyatt Ian Tosca to Title. And Title makes it a 5-3 game. And it keeps Westwood's hopes a little bit alive here at 4:01 left to go. Carrazza to the net! Oh, baby! Joe Carrazza does it again! He has a hat trick!
Hillers add 2 more goals and end up taking the game 6-3 over TVL large rival Westwood in the Sweet 16 matchup. Westwood ends their season with a record of 13-8-1. Hillers move on to the Elite 8 and improve to 18-4. Pavitt Mera netted 3 goals for the Hillers. Joe Scardino had 2 goals, Ryan Title had a goal, and Pavitt Mera contributed 2 assists in the Hillers win. The Hillers will next host another TVL large rival, Norwood, in the Elite 8 matchup on Wednesday, March 8th at 6 p.m. at the New England Sports Center. We are going to take a timeout. A whole lot more coming up, including a look at the HCA Hopkinton High School Honors Art Show. Stick around. HCAM programming is supported by our viewers, thank you, and by Phipps Insurance Agency, representing companies such as MapFree Insurance. Their family-owned independent agency is deeply rooted in the communities they serve and offer time-tested insurance products to fit individual needs. Since 1950, Phipps Insurance specializes in home, auto, business, condo, and renters insurance. Welcome back to HCAM News. The Hopkinton Center for the Arts recently hosted the Hopkinton High School Honors Art Show. Here's an extended look at the show as well as interviews with many of the talented artists.
With the two at the end being kind of opposites at slightly different angles, with the one in the bottom being light more from the side and in the front, and the one on the top being light from the back shining through, kind of creating a tunnel feel. I've had someone compare it to the Sydney Opera House, and I really like that comment. The one down here, I mainly picked it because it kind of looks like a drawing, but it's actually a digital photo. And I just really like how the shadows fade into each other, and the contrast of the bends, almost ribbon-like.
Yeah, that's really cool. Honestly, I couldn't tell at first what medium this was, but this is all really cool. So, Lunar, what makes you want to do art?
I've always been really creative whether it was coming up with different design ideas or trying to fix minor inconvenience problems. And art is just 90% creativity and only 10% actually building up the skill over time with practice, making the art, and just a lot of experimenting, and there really is no wrong way to do it. And as someone who kind of struggled in academics for the majority of my life, that was kind of a freeing thing to just be able to do it without there being a wrong way to do it.
Awesome. And one last question. Other than your own, what's your favorite piece that's being displayed here tonight?
My favorite piece tonight? That is a really hard question because there's a lot of beautiful artwork here today. But my favorite art piece would have to be the blue and purple raven, hold on, that Chloe did. I forgot her name for a second. I really like how she was able to take such a simple color palette and make a beautiful piece of art with such amazing contrast. And the just style of it with all the mushrooms and the crow on the ground instead of up in the air you normally would see birds depicted. It's just, I really think it's a beautiful piece of art.
Okay, so each one of these pieces is all connecting to my overarching theme that I have going on, which is the aspects of control and vulnerability in artwork. I tend to like to be really vulnerable with my work and try and communicate emotions that are less comfortable to talk about. And a lot of these emotions kind of wrap around that theme of being in control or being out of control and how much control you feel you have over a situation. So that's kind of what I focus on in all of these pieces.
All right, anything you want to say about any particular pieces?
Sure. So this piece right here is, it's titled Emptiness. It is a self-portrait that I did in charcoal. And I wanted to communicate that kind of feeling of emptiness, after you kind of given up on a situation or you feel you're just you have no control anymore. And I wanted to be able to represent that in using facial expressions in a more humanistic way, rather than doing it in a less direct way, which I've done with some of my other pieces. The piece Fates up there is actually based off of the Greek myth of the three fates, which I really like Greek mythology, so that was something I was super interested in exploring and using it to communicate something that it's not typically used to communicate. So I wanted to kind of communicate a feeling of being ready to give up on life as opposed to wanting to cling on, but kind of using the hands in each of those panels to represent emotions that you're feeling, as opposed to using a human face, which is more typical to be use to express these emotions. And then I wanted to continue kind of using like less direct things and not using physical human faces to explore like emotions and concepts. And I did that over here in Forever is an Empty Promise. I wanted to do an observational piece because I wanted to be able to focus on some technical skills as well as working into the conceptual aspects that I've been working on. And for this, I used 2 of my stuffed animals that I have from childhood in order to communicate kind of that like loss of childhood and that like loss of like control in your life as you like kind of grow up and start to experience all these new things that are like different and kind of almost scary for you. So.
Awesome. Okay, so what makes you want to make art?
It's just always been something that I've loved to do. Every time I make art, I'm able to just see all these things that I can do that I never thought that I would be able to. It's amazing to see how much I've grown just by looking through old sketchbooks and things like that. And every time I create art, I'm able to work through my own personal emotions that I'm feeling and kind of, it's a way to help myself get through tough times in my life without having to like go through like conversations that are more uncomfortable for me. And it's just overall, I love art. I love seeing other people's art and just being able to create things I never thought that I could.
Awesome. One last question. Other than your own, what's your favorite piece that's on display here today?
That's a really tough question. There's just so many amazing things. I definitely really like some of the work that G has done with the ocean and exploring that. And there's one piece with, I'm not totally sure what the title of it, but it's with like a fish with felt where you can actually like, it's an interactive piece, and I thought that was really cool to see because I'd never actually seen someone create interactive art when they're like around my age.
So I have 3 paintings on display. They're all oil paintings, expressing different emotions through the use of hands.
Okay, awesome. And what makes you want to make art?
I think I want to make art because I just find it very therapeutic for me, and it's just a way of expressing like thoughts and emotions, and it's just very relaxing and therapeutic to paint for me.
Other than your own, what's your favorite piece that's on display here tonight?
Oh, that's a good question. So many wonderful artists here. I love Alexa's piece, the Medusa looking in the reflection. I think that's great.
Yeah, so most of the art that I do is culminating with the fact that it all displays an emotion that you can't really describe with one word. So there are things that are like playful and fun, or like this one has just this giant shark, but it's also super fun. Or this one is scary, but also you can accept the fact that it's there. And then this one's just straight up playful. It should be an installation, but I just have it here for now. You can actually touch it. It's a tactile piece. And then this one's supposed to be disturbing, but also make you contemplate your own actions with overfishing and eating seafood. And then this one's just kind of supposed to make you confused. So there's regular forest animals in a kelp forest, and they're just staring at you like, what are you doing here? That's the title of the piece too.
So what makes you want to make art?
I mainly make the art for fun, just because it's something that I can deal with my emotions through and channel my emotions through. But mostly in the future, I'd want to do art for conservation efforts.
Cool. And one last question for you. Other than your own, what's your favorite piece that's on display here tonight?
This one.
I'm sorry, other than your own.
Oh! I'm going to say Rose O'Loughlin's, it's the one with the face. It's a whole portrait, and it's like an electronic head alien guy, and it's really cool.
So I like working with fun and like kind of childlike materials and subject matter. So these 2 at the top I actually did with crayon, and it's actually a crayon box I had when I was like a little kid that my Nana kept, because that's what Nanas do, and I found it. So I work with like these 10-year-old Crayola crayons, and I just like, I really love it. It's really fun. So that's kind of what I do. I'm still trying to figure out why I do it, but I know that I really enjoy it, and I really love my class and getting to see what other people do and kind of like that collaborative aspect of it. But I really, really enjoy making stuff, so.
Awesome. Well, you already answered my second question, so thanks. And my last question is, other than your own, what's your favorite piece that's on display tonight?
Oh, geez. Not to pick favorites. Yeah, but I think it's a tie. I really love G's felt fish. It's really cool. When we did the gallery walk, like when we first saw that piece, it was actually like an interactive thing where you could build the fish on this like really cool screen with like an aquatic background, but it was kind of tricky to do for the show. So I really love that one. And then I really love Sydney's, like all of Sydney's stuff, but the one where the woman, I forget what it's called, but she's looking like right at you and it's like the very thin line, like thin interconnected line. I think it's really stunning. Her work is really cool, but I would have to say those are my two favorites, but it's hard to pick.
Yeah, so the goal was to take pictures of white paper, just plain white paper, in different creative ways and use like lighting and shadows to make different shapes.
Okay, anything you want to say about any piece in particular?
Yeah, I think this one is my favorite, just because of the sharp shadows and light. I think I captured that pretty well.
Okay, very cool. So Sophia, why don't you tell us what makes you want to do art?
I think it's really expressive, and I enjoy both like the process of making art, but also getting to see everything come together has been really cool.
Okay, awesome. And one last question for you. Other than your own, what would you say is your favorite piece on display?
Definitely Alexa's piece, the traditional still life piece. I like that a lot.
So this work is exploring my inquiry for AP Art on exploration of like human nature, technology, the human body. So I just really wanted to think about like the border between what is human and what is not. Specifically with nature and technology, I find it so aesthetically beautiful, the combination of both.
Very cool. It's very cool stuff. What makes you want to do art?
I think I just have so much in me. I feel like my brain is like very full of thoughts constantly, and I could write, but I feel I don't really have the words to say what is inside me. I feel like this is just the way I've always done things. I've been doing art since I was like before I can remember, and I think it's just the best way for me to express myself, really. I don't know any other way. It's how I communicate myself to the world.
Awesome. And one last question for you. Other than your own, what would you say is your favorite piece on display here tonight?
I'd have to say Alexa's photography piece of the candle and the objects with like a skull and stuff. I just really like the composition of it. I think it's really beautiful. The colors are just stunning. Oh, and I also really like Michaela's painting here. I love the feeling of that. It's like kind of like fate almost, like somebody grasping and letting go at the same time. Like they must let go from each other, but they don't want to. These two hands.
Most of my pieces touch upon just beauty and just like the struggle of it, especially with being a woman in today's like just world and stuff. And so I really wanted to entwine the language of flowers with just like women and like just beauty and stuff, because the language of flowers has gone back many, many years, and I think it's just a really beautiful, like just how they can tell just such beautiful stories, and I really just like to put that in my art. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say about any of them in particular?
I can talk about this piece. It's called Worth Beyond Beauty, and I wanted to depict just the struggle of having acne as like a teen girl, and how a lot of times we're pressured to hide it, and that it's like shameful and really ugly, I guess. And I wanted to show that that should not be the case, and that it should be embraced. And I wanted to kind of represent the acne as flowers, and it's a Elysium flower, which they were used by like witches back in the day to ward off anger and negative feelings. And so I really just think that like that idea, like that concept worked really well with acne, and yeah. Yeah.
So what makes you want to do art?
I've always had an interest in art. Ever since I was like a young kid, I like always would draw like little animals and stuff. But I really wanted to start getting more serious with it when I wanted to, like, I guess, connect like my own life experiences into my art and like kind of express myself with my art. And yeah, so that's why I really like to do art.
One last question for you. Other than your own, what would you say is your favorite piece on display?
Probably Michaela's hand piece, because I really love the texture she did with it and the gradient shades and everything, and I think it's really, really well done, especially her shading and textures on all the hands and stuff.
It's time to tell you about some happenings in town you should know about. On Thursday, March 9th, Politics with Principals, the first female cabinet secretary presentation, brought to you by the Hopkinton Senior Center. That's March 9th at 1 p.m. If you are interested and would like to pre-register, you can call the Senior Center at 508-497-9730. Family Fling, Saturday, March 25th at 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Hopkinton Town Common. The Friends of Hopkinton will bring you some great entertainment, activities, and food at the Family Fling at the Hopkinton Town Common, Saturday, March 25th. Our picture of the week, courtesy of Mr. Scott Bott, a fantastic showing by Hopkinton High School at the Business Professionals of America Connect Nationals. A big thank you to Mr. Scott for this great photo. And congratulations to the Hopkinton High School Business Professionals of America team. Upcoming town government meetings include on Thursday, March 9th at 6 p.m. The Select Board will be with the school committee. That meeting will be live on HCAM TV. Then on Tuesday, March 14th at 6 p.m., the Select Board meeting will be live on HCAM TV. For more information on upcoming town government meeting broadcasts, head over to hcam.tv/gov. And for more information about the meetings, you can head over to the town website at hopkintonma.gov. Believe it or not, we are out of time for this edition of HCAM News. For everyone at HCAM, I'm Tom Nappy. As always, we thank you for watching. We'll be back next Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Take care, be well, and we'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye, everybody.